Crazy Coffee here. This video is going to be a little different than what I normally upload. These are personal stories. True stories that have actually happened to me personally. I have suffered from sleep paralysis throughout my life. It always terrified me when it happened to me as a kid. But as I got older, it never really scared me, but it just disturbed me how my mind was able to create such horrible imagery. I'm sure you can already tell from watching my horror-related videos that I am a very disturbed individual. In real life, I suffer from severe depression and high-functioning anxiety, which are both causes of sleep paralysis. This is why I mainly decided to create my own horror-related content to express to people what I see and feel. My mental illness has developed hallucinations that I have seen while being sleep paralyzed. These are 4 of the scariest and most memorable sleep paralysis experiences I have had. This happened, I want to say, nearly 2 years ago. I can't remember much of what happened before I went to bed. All I can remember is that I woke up and couldn't move. For whatever reason, I could see that the lights were turned on in my room, and sitting at the edge of my bed was my dad, except his head was huge. I could just see my dad faintly talking to me, with his head 10 times its normal size. I then began to float off of my bed upward until I hit the ceiling. That was when I woke up to see that my lights were off and my dad was gone. The reason this was so scary to me was how real it felt. Even though it wasn't real, it's never a pleasant sight to see someone you love's head be the size of a boulder. This is the most recent experience I've had. This happened nearly a month ago. It was my day off, and I was up the entire morning. Usually when I am awake for an entire morning, I take a nap in the afternoon. I'm sure many can relate. As I was falling asleep, I lost my ability to move, even though I could still see, which happens to me all the time. But not every time this happens does something scary happen. It's usually that I'm just paralyzed in bed for like 30 seconds. In this specific episode, I was laying on my stomach while facing the other side of my room, where I couldn't see the door. As I was trying to break out of the paralysis, I could hear the sound of distant banging and growling. It sounded like a bear in a cage trying to break out. This went on for about 7 seconds before the growling and banging stopped. I then heard someone enter my room and call my name out. I felt whoever this was climb onto my bed before I felt them biting into my head. That was when I immediately woke up. Nobody was in my room, and no damage was done to my head. My theory is that this was the sound of a demon trying to break out of hell to possess me as my soul was leaving my body. That is only my theory though, and just know that I am a very superstitious person. This happened nearly 2 years ago, around the same time as story number 4. I was dozing off in my bed, and I'm pretty sure it wasn't even dark outside. My lights were on. I yet again began to lose my ability to move. The first thing I noticed was that my dad was standing in my doorway. I didn't hear him walk up to my door though, or even open it. It was like he just appeared there. Something was wrong with his face though. He looked like he was crying, and his mouth was open, wider than a human should be able to. He just stood there staring at me for a couple seconds before he made some kind of low-pitched sound. My entire doorway went completely black, and all I could see was my dad's face in the pitch black doorway, except it wasn't my dad. It was this pale face with white skin and blood-red eyes and a wide open mouth. It continued to make the noise I heard from my dad. After seeing that, I woke up to see that my door was open, and nobody was standing in my doorway. This is the first sleep paralysis experience I had, and is still to this day the scariest. I was about 9 or 10 years old. My family and I had just gotten home from a long day on the road. I've always been the last person to fall asleep in my family, even as a kid. About an hour after my brother fell asleep, something happened in that room that I'll never forget till the day I die. The room turned green. What I mean by that is everything in my vision was this dark shade of green, as if I were looking through a camera filter. As this was happening, I heard the sound of a man laughing, echoing from the back of my head. Not a genuine humorous laugh though, but rather the laugh of someone who was completely insane and evil. I tried to move my arms to pull my covers over my face, but my arms wouldn't move. I couldn't move anything. I didn't know what sleep paralysis was at the time, and had never experienced it before. So I was obviously very scared, especially since I was just a kid. I heard the laughter and couldn't move, and the room was still a dark green color for about a solid minute before the laughing stopped. And I could move again, and the green faded away. I remember sitting upward in my bed wondering what the hell just happened, before I just dismissed it as a bad dream and went to sleep. The reason this one is the scariest to me is because I still don't know who or what was in that room laughing at me. And there is nothing scarier than the unknown. A fun fact about this story is it's what inspired all of the green you see in my channel, like in my intros and whatnot. Thank you all for watching, and please let me know what you think of these stories. Which one do you think is the scariest? Do you think I should see a doctor for my sleep paralysis? And do you suffer from sleep paralysis as well? Let me know in the comments, and also feel free to suggest any stories or creepypastas for me to narrate. I am Crazy Coffee, and I will see you in the next video.